The cabin lights were dim when the captain's voice cracked through the intercom with a single word that froze every heartbeat on board. Mayday. The aircraft lurched. Not violently, but enough to wake sleeping passengers and turn comfort into fear. Somewhere in the dark, a woman opened her eyes, calm and alert, long before anyone knew who she truly was. Asterisk, what city are you watching from today? If this story resonated with you, hit subscribe for more real stories about extraordinary people. Her name was Lieutenant Commander Ava Morales, but no one on this commercial flight knew that. To them, she was just another passenger in a hoodie, hair tied back, eyes steady. She had boarded hours earlier without fanfare, choosing an aisle seat near the wing. She was returning home from a classified evaluation, exhausted from weeks of silence and discipline. Sleep had come easily, trained into her by years of combat flights and midnight landings on steel decks at sea. The captain spoke again, voice controlled but strained. An engine anomaly had triggered alarms. Weather ahead was rough. The nearest diversion airport was over open water with limited runway options. The flight attendants moved quickly, their smiles tight, their steps practiced. Passengers whispered prayers. A child cried. Ava sat upright, breathing slow, listening for details others could not hear. She noticed the pitch of the engines change. She felt the aircraft compensate. Her mind ran calculations without effort. Fuel load, weight, wind, options. Training took over before fear could enter. A flight attendant passed her row, knuckles white around a service cart. Ava caught her eye and spoke softly. If the cockpit needs help, tell them there's a pilot on board. The attendant nodded, relief flickering, and moved on. Minutes passed. The plane shook again, sharper this time. Oxygen masks did not fall, but tension did. The intercom chimed. The captain asked if there were any pilots among the passengers. Several hands rose. A retired cargo pilot. A regional first officer. A flight instructor. Good people. Skilled people. Ava waited. The attendant returned and stopped beside her. The captain is asking for a Navy SEAL pilot on board, she said quietly, almost apologetic. Ava stood. She walked forward through the aisle as turbulence rolled beneath her feet. Faces turned. Some curious. Some skeptical. She was young. Smaller than expected. Not what movies promise. A man muttered that this was not the time for jokes. Ava did not respond. At the cockpit door, security protocols slowed everything. Identification was checked. Credentials scanned. Her card carried a symbol that changed the room. The door opened. Inside, the cockpit smelled of hot electronics and stress. The captain looked up, eyes searching. Ava met his gaze and spoke with calm certainty. Lieutenant Commander Morales, Naval Aviation. Qualified on multi-engine jets. Carrier landings. Emergency procedures instructor. The first officer exhaled. The captain nodded once. Take the jump seat. As Ava strapped in, alarms chirped. Not loud, but insistent. An engine parameter was drifting out of tolerance. Not catastrophic yet, but trending wrong. Weather radar showed a wall of instability ahead. Turning back meant flying through it longer. Pushing forward meant trusting the aircraft to hold together. Ava asked precise questions. She listened. She suggested a fuel crossfeed adjustment and a throttle reduction to stabilize temperatures. The numbers responded. The alarm softened. Not gone, but manageable. The captain glanced at her again. What do you think? I think we keep the engine alive, avoid aggressive maneuvers, and set up for the longest available runway. If we lose more power, we prepare for a controlled descent. She said it without drama. Just truth. They briefed the approach together. Ava's voice never wavered. She had landed jets on pitching decks in blackout conditions with hostile fire nearby. This was different, but not unfamiliar. Fear was noise. Focus was signaled. In the cabin, passengers felt the plane level slightly. The shaking eased. A quiet spread, not relief, but hope. The attendants moved again, steadier now. As they descended, weather battered the aircraft. Rain hammered the fuselage. Wind pushed at the wings. The engine held, barely. Ava monitored every gauge, calling out changes before they became problems. The captain flew. The first officer backed him up. 3 mines, 1 go. The runway lights appeared through gray haze. The plane dropped lower. The engine surged, then steadied. The captain committed. Ava watched airspeed, angle, sink rate. She called corrections. Small ones. Vital ones. The wheels touched down hard but true. Brakes engaged. The plane shuddered and slowed. When it finally rolled to a stop, silence fell, then breath returned. In the cabin, applause erupted. Some cried. Some laughed in disbelief. The captain made an announcement, thanking the crew and acknowledging a passenger whose experience made a difference. He did not give her name. Ava preferred it that way. As she stepped back into the aisle, faces looked at her differently now. The man who had muttered earlier lowered his eyes. A mother mouthed thank you. A child stared with wide admiration. Ava returned to her seat and sat down, heart finally catching up. She was not a hero in her own mind. She had simply done her job, even when off duty. That was the oath. That was the training. After landing, as passengers disembarked, the captain shook her hand. "You saved a lot of lives today," he said. "We all did," she replied. Outside, rain washed the tarmac clean. Ava pulled her hood up and walked toward the terminal, anonymous again. Tomorrow, she will return to a world that demanded silence and strength in equal measure. Tonight, she allowed herself a single quiet thought of gratitude, not for praise, but for preparedness. This story is not about titles or uniforms. It is about readiness, about the unseen weight people carry, about how the person who changes everything might be the one you never notice. What did this story make you feel? Where are you watching from? Subscribe to Soul Relief Stories for more real stories that heal the heart.